what the software can do, show you a few stills of it, and kind of answer any questions. But I can't really get into the nitty-gritty of it in a presentation like this. It would be best if you had hands-on. But at least you'd be aware that we have these two tools that you can use. So I am from the main library, and how many of you are first degree UWI students? Who is not a first degree UWI student? Okay, so it's half and half, and so this is for you guys basically. These are the basics. In terms of anything to do with finding scholarly resources at UWI, especially the really important stuff like peer-reviewed scholarly journals, ebooks, things that you usually meet up a paywall on the internet for, you have to access them through our website, and that's the link right there. You guys are seeing that slide, right? No, you're not. All right, so from the main UWI website, in that little red box, there's a link that says libraries, and that's how you would get to the library webpage. In order to borrow books, you just need to use your ID, and that will get you through. Once the semester starts, we're open 22 hours a day, which means that from 8 a.m. until 6 a.m. the following morning, there is a library on campus available to you. So they'll have the main, or at least two of the branches that you can go to and study. And in the main, we have specific postgraduate learning spaces. We have something called the PGLC, the Postgraduate Learning Commons, in the main library. And that's a space with seminar rooms, conference rooms, and that sort of thing. I know this doesn't have anything to do with EndNote, but I just wanted to tell you some of the things that the library has available to you. Does this acronym mean anything to anybody?
Yes.
Okay. Can anybody tell me what it means? No. Not even the people who were here for undergrad? Okay. This is what the acronym stands for. UWI Libraries Information Connection. And basically you have to think of UWI Link as your one-stop shop. I don't know if any of you have come across a really good article or a really good resource on the internet, and when you tried to drill down to it, payment information came up. Right. That's because good information is not free, and a lot of times the university has actually subscribed. You were speaking about fees a while ago. Your fees are used to pay for scholarly peer-reviewed journals, to pay for electronic databases like EBSCO, JSTOR, PubMed. These are some of the collections that we have where you're going to be able to access full text in PDF that you can save and print and ultimately import into EndNote, which is a software that we're going to talk about. So a lot of the information that we have available to you now is going to be digital. You're going to be able to download it in PDF. You're going to be able to access it anytime, anywhere. You don't have to be on campus. You could be in St. Lucia doing field work, and you'd be able to access UWI Link and get access to the online journals. We're also making the decision to order most of our things in e-copy now. And these are some of the e-book vendors that we get things from. eBury, SpringerLink. And so when you're using UWI Link usually tells you where the material is from. It's going to tell you whether it's from the EBSCO database, or whether it's an eBury book or a SpringerLink book. So that's why knowing some of these names is important. But a lot of things are going to come up in UWI Link, and it's going to tell you full text available. So that was my little brief rundown on the library. So EndNote. Have any of you used it before? No? Okay, so it's an excellent software that allows you to manage your research, not just your references. It allows you to manage everything. At the end of this program, I know that you're going to have to do some sort of research proposal, or you're going to have to do some sort of research paper, and it's something that you'll have to start thinking about the minute that you get into the program. What do you like? What area are you interested in? And as you're searching in UWI Link, you're going to be finding PDFs and downloading them. Some of you may even have folders full of PDFs now, that maybe you're working on an assignment in undergrad and you found stuff and you just kept them in this folder. Well, EndNote you can keep stuff there too. It can be a storage collection as well as a reference management software. Just to mention to you some of the other options that are out there now, there's a software called Mendeley, one called RefWorks, one called Zotero, and nowadays Word has a function where you can actually type in the author, title, the citation information, and it will create a citation for you. But ultimately, EndNote is what we recommend because it has many other different features. So what are some of the features of EndNote? You'll be doing assignments, but you may be working on other projects as well. You might be doing a grant application, a CV, you may be working on an article for publication. Anything that you're working on that has to have references cited in them, EndNote can be used. So it doesn't just have to be assignments. So you can use it for any kind of document. It will allow you to automatically create a reference list. And sometimes when I explain this to students, without seeing it, they don't get it. So I'm going to demonstrate it to you afterwards. But once you have your references in EndNote software, you can put them into anything, a PowerPoint, anything you can think of. It will format it correctly in APA, Vancouver, Oscola, whatever citation style you need. Once you've put in the information, once you've imported it from the database, it can output it in any style that you want. This software is free to you guys. You just need to go down to MITS, and you can do it tomorrow once you have your ID and have it ready. They'll put it on for you, or sometimes they'll give it to you on a thumb drive, and you, if you're savvy like that, you can upload it yourself onto the laptop. So in addition to storage, in addition to citation, EndNote has a storage function. And so basically you can attach images, research notes, anything you want to the file that you have in EndNote. And so it becomes a way that you can organize your research. So I'm going to talk again about the PDF folders that you might have. Once you've found something that you like, you import the reference into EndNote. You can attach the PDF, you can attach your reference notes, and so you have a very organized library. You don't just have printouts in a folder that you may not be able to find. Everything is in a single space. The other element to this is that you're able to work with Word. And so once you've uploaded EndNote onto your computer, you're going to get an additional tab, and I'll show you what that looks like in a minute. And you'll be able to cite while you write. And so this is how EndNote helps you to avoid plagiarism, because if you're actively engaging with what you're writing and actively trying to ensure that you're citing things as you paraphrase, as you do your verbatim quotes, you know that you're going to be on the right track and you won't be plagiarizing. So before I just go into the software, I'm just going to show you a graphical representation of how EndNote works. So you are in the social sciences, and I'm assuming that your style is APA. Is that true? Right. So because you have this software now, it doesn't mean that you don't need to be looking at your APA manual. You can still refer to it. But APA, the manual, plus Word, the software, plus EndNote, you will have a mixture there for ensuring that things are cited correctly and you're on the ball with doing your research. So I'm just going to quickly bring up EndNote and kind of show you what I mean. All right, so I may not be able to import a reference for you, but as you can see, this is the software. I'm just going to close out and bring it up again and just show you. Once you've downloaded it onto your machine, and I can't emphasize that if you start early with this, meaning that you keep yourself organized and have all your records and everything in EndNote, it will make life a lot easier at the end of this program. I have students who've done it diligently from the beginning, and when it's time to do their reference list or to churn out their lit review, life is a lot easier because everything is in here for them. So this is a library that has information in it already. If you look on the right-hand side of the screen where you have that column that I'm in now, and I click on preview, you'll see a citation there for this reference. You'll see that it's formatted in APA. I'm not sure. It depends on how the information was put in. Right, that one looks better. But if I wanted to change this to Vancouver, I just simply click on the drop arrow, tell it Vancouver. Vancouver is a numbered style. So you'll see that 1 is there now, and this is what a Vancouver citation would look like. So just to give you an idea that you can manipulate the output styles of the references. The only other thing that I'm going to show you very quickly is how do you put in a reference. So I'm going to click on New Reference, and this is where you manually put in information. So I'm going to tell it that I am putting in a book. I'm going to put me as the author. So Louis, Jessica. This book was published in 2016. The title is Information Literacy. There's no series editor or series title, no volume, but there's a place published, Kingston, publisher, UWI Press, and that should be everything I need for a book citation. I'm going to save it. And you see that my reference is now a part of the listed items here. And I'm going to change that back to APA so that you can see the previewed reference output there. So as I said, this is just a brief introduction. We have sessions in the Mona Information Literacy Unit. I can come back whenever you're ready, and we can do it in the postgraduate lab in the main library, and you can have a hands-on session when you started to get more into it. A while ago, I did what is called a manual entry, where I put in everything myself, but you can directly import them from the internet and from the database, so you don't have to be typing in like that. All right? So that's EndNote. Let me talk briefly now about Turnitin. I don't think that they're seeing again. Okay, great. Anybody has had experience with Turnitin? Okay. Was it easy to use? And yes, I think it's fairly easy to use. But some people have negative perceptions of it. How do you feel about it, those of you who have used it?
Maybe it's just a course.
Mm-hmm. Right, and a lot of people have reservations like that, and they don't look at Turnitin in the way that I want you to look at it. It is not a punitive tool. It's a tool to help you. It's there for you to run your assignment through and to alert you to any issues that you may be having. I tell students all the time that when I came to UWI, this tool hadn't yet started, like it came in maybe the year after or a year after that. And I didn't have to worry about this. But you guys are living in a different age. You're living in a very digital time where things are easily detected. And we know for sure that most plagiarism at the higher education level is not intentional. Studies have shown that it's because of time management, or you don't know how to cite something properly. People are not deliberately trying to steal people's work. And so Turnitin is an opportunity, a software that is able to highlight, because it's hooked up to all the databases and paper mills and certain things, it's able to highlight to a certain degree of probability what it thinks you may have not cited properly. Okay, and so that's how you have to look at it. That this is an opportunity now for me to upload it, have a look, and make the necessary corrections. All right, so there are many different plagiarism softwares out there, but this is the one that we're using at UWI. It was started in 1996, Turnitin, the software itself, but I think that UWI brought it on in the early 2000s. A lot of people think that the library administers Turnitin, but we do not. It is a product of the Office of Graduate Students. And so any issues that you have with it, any problems that you're having with it, you really need to go to them, but we do help or guide students with how to use it. You can go to them to get the password, or if you just go to turnitin.com and put in your student ID and your password information, you will be able to get in to the user profile. You'll have to create your user profile, and then you have to go through various processes of submitting a paper. And you can upload different types of files. Most times it's a Word file that you're going to be uploading. And my main tip to students when they're uploading a file is just don't put in your citations. If you have a very long list of citations, just exclude that, because a lot of times Turnitin will flag that as plagiarism. So you're just putting in your core text. So that's kind of what the interface of Turnitin looks like. It's very clean, very simple. You'll be able to see how you can submit the paper, and you'll also be able to view your results once you've uploaded your paper. And it's going to give you something called an originality report. It may take a few minutes, but you'll be able to view and download this report. And the report is going to tell you, through color coding, what it thinks you have matched or taken. And it's going to be able to tell you where it thinks those things have come from. So let me show you what a report looks like. So you'll see the document that you've uploaded, and on the right, you'll see the various instances of plagiarism, where it thinks it has come from. So if you click on it, it will take you to the place on the web that it's been able to highlight. And in the top right-hand corner, you're going to see a percentage of plagiarism as well. Students often ask me, like, well, what's a good number for plagiarism? What should I be guided by? And I have to tell them, you need to speak to your supervisor. That's not something that I can tell you. I know the lower, the better. But that's something that you need to check and see what they're accepting. Certain journals will tell you anything over 20% is not suitable. Anything over 15% is not suitable, but that's something that you have to work out. But like any software, it just takes a little hands-on using it. It's nothing daunting or difficult, and if you do have a problem, you can come to the library and we'll help you to navigate through it. But as I said, it's an opportunity. Students who are handling their final research papers and their dissertations get the opportunity to do this before submission. And so if you find that you have a frightening number, it's because you haven't paraphrased properly, or you haven't put into quotation marks what you've taken verbatim, or there's an issue. Maybe you've used too much, you've quoted too much, and that is bringing the percentage up. So it's not a punitive tool, it's just there to help and guide you, and to give you the opportunity to revisit and revise your work. What I didn't mention to you at the beginning of my presentation was that I'm actually the liaison librarian for sociology, psychology, and social work, which means that HR falls under my domain. That means that I am your point person in the library. I'm the person that if you have any issue at all, you're not getting onto UWI Link, or you don't remember anything I said this evening, and you want to have a research consultation. Or when you start to do your research, you realize the things that you want to read, they're all at Cave Hill, or they're all at St. Augustine, and we need to try and get them here for you on interlibrary loan. We can do that for you. Or the journal article you need, it's not available. Unfortunately, we don't have a subscription to it. How can we get it for you? So not only can I help with EndNote and Turnitin, I am your point person. Please feel free to contact me. My office is at the back of the Merrick Lab in the main library. That's the lab that when you're heading into the catalog hall, it's all the way at the back. I answer email very readily. If you email me, I'm going to email you back. So please feel free to do that. And ultimately, we're going to be having a lot of training at the beginning of the semester. We're going to have UWI Link sessions. We're going to have EndNote sessions. If 5 of you come together and you come and you say, you know, Miss Lewis, 5 of us want to get ahead with EndNote, can you have a session? That can certainly happen. But know that we are here to help you. If you're having any problems at all, please feel free to contact me.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
The previous slide that had the percentages, this thing about not saving your work, because then you end up with 100% plagiarized.
Right. So how Turnitin works is that it is like a mega database hooked up to mega databases, and it keeps a copy of your work if you tell it to, so that people do not take your assignment and try and pass it off as their own. It becomes a part of the body of the work in there, and it can say, well, we've seen this already, and it wasn't from you, and so you are plagiarizing. So you can opt not to do that so that it does not become a part of the body of work, and so that you can resubmit it and not have those issues. When you start to use the databases and start to look at the information on the web, you'll realize the magnitude of Turnitin and what it's searching and how good of a tool it is that is really going to help you to fine-tune what you're doing. Any other questions? So as I said, PGLC, if you haven't used it before, there's one in the SANS library, one in the main library. It's a section where you can have group meetings, conference meetings. Please come and see us.